Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. It's Friday, it's almost the weekend, it's almost the return of Newcastle United as we head down to the Etihad tomorrow night for an 8 p.m. kickoff against Manchester City. A bit different with the times, Pep Guardiola has been moaning about them, but I think it's hopefully a good one, a full day of football. We are the late kickoff, go out, have a few beers and hopefully see us pick up a result. Let me know your plans down below. You're watching it in the house, are you going out, or are you going down to the Etihad? Quite a lot of Newcastle fans are either happy or against what's going on at the moment, which is Newcastle are really pushing. You need to take your ID to show that the ticket is yours. Obviously, if you normally buy them off a mate, that's bad news. If you're trying to get on the ladder and get some points, you might have more of a chance now because Newcastle are really pushing this ID stuff. But we won't talk about that in this video. We will talk about the match preview. We'll talk about Newcastle, talk about Man City, talk about Lewis Hall, who has now arrived in Newcastle for his medical ahead of his transfer. Eddie Howe spoke about that in his press conference. We'll talk about Eddie Howe's press conference as well. He acknowledged it. Normally Eddie Howe ignores it. Oh, Lewis who? You know, he doesn't like to say it until it's done. Even Eddie Howe has spoken a little bit about what is happening with that, so we'll get onto that in this video. And he's also spoken about transfer plans for the rest of the window. So we'll talk about that as well as lineups and predictions. So get yours down in the comments below. Let's start off with Manchester City. Obviously, a very good side. Pep Guardiola has been having himself a little bit of a moan in his press conference because Man City did play this week. They won the cup midweek. They obviously ended up going to penalties. I think by the time the game was finished, it was 12 o'clock at night, and Pep Guardiola saying, you know, the Premier League could have maybe done us a favour and moved it to the Sunday or the Monday. Yeah, maybe they could have. They moved, that's why it's at 8 o'clock apparently. I think it's because the Premier League want more TV money, but supposedly it's at 8 o'clock to give them a few extra hours rest. You know, I'm not really bothered, to be honest. If anything, it's a good thing for us. Positives Newcastle have going at this game. Hopefully Man City might be a little bit tired. There's injury news. Pep Guardiola, well, I think he's playing a few little games, but it's thought that John Stones may still not be available for the game. Kevin De Bruyne has picked up an injury, so he won't be available. So trying to really push on some of the things that hopefully aren't in Man City's favour this weekend. Having said that, they're still a very, very good side. They've pretty much got two teams, so I'm sure they can rotate without too much of an issue. And they've got Haaland, who has scored, I think, 38 goals in his last 36 appearances. So, I mean, yeah, as much as Pep likes to moan, they're not doing too bad for themselves. And speaking of bad for themselves, Newcastle's Etihad Stadium record isn't too great. Newcastle haven't won at the Etihad. In the 18 Premier League games we've played there, we haven't beat them. I think we've lost 16 and drawn 2. So yeah, the record ain't great. The last time we won away down at Man City was at Main Road. So hopefully we will change that this weekend. I think there's lots of positives for us to take into this game. Yes, Man City are a good side, but so are we. We started the season off very well with a 5-1 win against Aston Villa. Some fantastic performances from a handful of players. Isak looking incredible. I thought Gordon did brilliantly well as well. And we really want to try and just build on what was a really good start to the season. Eddie Howe has said that he wants the team to go into this one and be positive and be up for it. And I think we will be. Eddie Howe also spoke about Lewis Hall. He was asked about our newest signing, the 18-year-old man from Chelsea whose dad's a Geordie. He is a Newcastle fan. He's got roots with the club, and he's at the club right now, getting his medical done, spotted down at the training centre. Eddie Howe said that it is a loan deal. He didn't go into specifics on it, but what is being reported is that it is a loan with a obligation to buy. So normally what you'll have with a loan deal is you can have an option to buy. So at the end of the loan you go, yeah, not that keen. This one we have to buy him. So regardless of how good or extra good he does, because he won't do bad, he'll be amazing, we will have to buy him. So yeah, he's still a young lad. It could well be that it takes a couple of years to grow into it, but I have seen a few people saying, wow, you know, 30 million for an 18-year-old. I think the thing is that we've already seen it in the few games that Lewis Hall has played with Chelsea, and I think Eddie Howe, to be honest, loves buying players who do well against us. Gordon did really good against us. Eddie Howe wanted him. Lewis was probably the only player on that Chelsea team that did any good when we played them last season, and Eddie Howe wanted him. So he's seen him in the flesh. He's seen what he can do. He's seen his work rate. He's seen how good he is on the ball. I'm backing Eddie Howe, and I'm backing the transfer. Will Lewis Hall play tomorrow? I would imagine not. We'll get up in the lineup, so you can tell me down in the comments below. Do you have Lewis Hall starting this game? Not for me, but I think he will play a big feature. And if you are interested to hear a little bit more of my thoughts about the lineups between Lewis Hall versus Dan Burn for this season, be sure to go and check out my Patreon. I've been posting some exclusive content on there. It's really building up now. Which is amazing, and some of you guys are starting to get on and subscribe. You get the extra content. It really helps the channel, helps me come out here and make more videos like this one. So please be sure to go and check out Patreon. Loads of extra content and the channel membership as well. Thank you to everyone who's helped and support. That was my little bit for the middle of this video. But yeah, happy days for Lewis Hall. Happy to see him coming in. And Eddie Howe was asked on the plans for the remainder of the transfer window. It's not that exciting because the plans are that he has no plans to bring any more players in the window. Having said that, I will believe it when I see it, because Eddie Howe has been telling everyone that the transfer budget was 40p at the start of this summer window, and it's fair to say we've spent a fair bit more than that. I think should an option come up for another centre-back, we may well still jump over it. I hope we don't jump over it. I hope we jump on it and try and bring in something to really... That's the position everyone's talking about, that right centre-back role. If we can jump on something for that position, I think we're going in looking really strong. Stuart Pearce saying that he thinks Newcastle are going to win the Premier League this season. I wish I had your confidence, Stuart. I really do. I really hope I think we will have a very good season, win the Premier League. Well, to do that, I think we need to win this weekend as well. Eddie Howe was also asked about the technical area and Klopp's comments and all that kind of stuff, which, as someone keeps honking the horn over there, Eddie Howe was asked about Klopp's comments on the technical area. You know what's funny is that when you're winning, you don't moan, do you? When you're winning, you get on with it, you do your job. Eddie Howe didn't moan. Yeah, there's a few changes to the technical area. It is what it is. We'll continue. When things aren't going your way, Mr. Jurgen Klopp, Chelsea beating you to two different players, having a pants season. Oh, let's moan about Newcastle technical area. They made the change. They've already done the change. I don't know why he has to talk about it still. It's very, very odd. I think he's trying to divert away from himself. Don't ask questions about Liverpool. Just ask. He wants to be asked about questions on Newcastle because it gets headlines, and it means that people aren't criticising his side either. But in more fun news, he was asked about Tonali and his recent visit to the Wetherspoons. Keith Downey was asking if it was Matt Ritchie who stitched him up and sent him there. Eddie Howe said, I don't know who did it. He was like, I don't know how Matt Ritchie's getting the stick for this one. I seen an interview recently or a video where Bruno was asked, was it you who sent him there? Bruno said no. Lots of fun and games on Tonali going to Wetherspoons. I've heard that he's been to a few different restaurants all week in Newcastle. People spotting him all over the place. He's obviously getting used to the town. Hopefully he's not put on, he's not eating too much ahead of the game against Man City tomorrow, because we need him to have another brilliant performance like he did last time. And it's safe to say he is in my lineup, so we'll put them on screen for you guys now. And to be honest, the lineups, it's exactly the same. It is exactly the same. I think goalie, 4 at the back is going to stay the same. Dan Burn, Lewis Hall, could that be something we see in the future? Yes, I think that'll be mixed around. I think Trippier and Livramento, can't wait to see Livramento in action as well. But I think for now, second game of the season coming off the back of a 5-1, you don't change your winning side. I think Bruno, Joe Linton and Tonali in the middle has to play. The only thing up front you could maybe talk about is Isak and Wilson. Isak scored 2, but Wilson did come on and score. Wilson didn't play as long in the game. Could Isak maybe do with a break by now? But I just think with the pace of Man City, I think Isak's a good one to start. And Wilson is clinical. Going on late into a game, bring Wilson on, get him to stick the ball in the back of the net, just as he did against Aston Villa. You could look at it the other way and say if we start Wilson, Isak comes on with far more pace to try and get something late in the game. But I think Isak started. He proved himself with 2 goals. I'll go with him again. I think possibly the one that's really up for debate is Gordon and Barnes. Although Gordon had a great game, got an assist, played really, really well, goes off, Barnes comes on and scores. But Barnes got 2 goals in the pre-season. He gets his first goal for the club in the first game of the season. Do you reward that with a start? Or do you stick with a Gordon who really was a big part of us getting, 4-1 up before Barnes even, 3-1 up before Barnes even came on? So you can let me know your thoughts on that one. I think that's probably the 2 positions that you would argue. I don't think you can really argue Murphy over Almiron at the minute. I don't think you can argue any of the midfield, and unless you wanted to try and freshen it up at the back, I don't think there's much change there either. So lineups are pretty much where I would keep them from the previous game. In terms of a prediction, look, if we get anything off Man City away with the record we have down there against the side that are fantastic after what they did last season, they won everything, draw will be good. Draw is a good result, but if we can start the game well, Eddie Howe spoke about how Tonali's first goal against Villa just set us up for the game. If we can try and get something quick off the mark, and hopefully, you're looking at Holland and just going, I hope he's having a bad day. I hope he did have too much to eat at the Wetherspoons and he's not feeling it, but I'm backing it, why not? 2-1 Newcastle, let's absolutely smash it. Saturday night in the pub, enjoying the game. Be sure to subscribe. Do not miss any future videos. I will be back tomorrow with the pre-match chat, the post-match chat, the instant reaction, all the good stuff, as well as some added extras on Patreon as well. I'm hoping to do a bit of a behind the scenes in the pub. I've got a few podcasts coming out on there as well. So sign up for it. Take a look. Enjoy it. Help support the channel. Thank you for watching, guys. Enjoy your Friday. Catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.